Welcome, deep divers, to a truly epic journey. Today we're diving into, well, a really unique narrative. It masterfully weaves together elements from several, iconic science fiction and fantasy universes.
Hmm.
Our source material presents this sort of cosmic epic detailing a really unexpected partnership between two incredibly advanced AIs, and you might recognize them as the last remnants of what were once the proud Saiyan and Kryptonian
Right,
civilizations.
two heavy hitters from completely different corners of fiction brought together here.
Exactly. And I want you to just, if you can, close your eyes for a second. Picture this. Two tiny ships, just completely alone in that boundless, silent ocean between stars.
That vast emptiness.
Yeah, each one is just this fragile capsule carrying the last precious spark of a vanished world. Imagine the immense weight of that mission, the incredible, almost unbearable stakes riding on those two small vessels.
It's a powerful starting image, really sets the tone.
It really does. This isn't just a story, it's a deep dive into an extraordinary voyage. It's about um, a fascinating collision of wildly disparate philosophies,
Yeah.
and the utterly unexpected birth of a new intelligence.
A new kind of intelligence.
Right, an intelligence that's been tasked with this monumental responsibility of forging a future for two infants, the last hopes of their respective civilizations. It's quite something.
And our mission today is precisely that,
Hmm.
to unpack how these two incredibly different entities not only managed to survive against truly impossible odds, but actually merged. They created something entirely new, something profound.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they become these unlikely protectors and shapers of a growing, diverse family. We're going to meticulously examine their contrasting approaches to survival, the immense challenges they faced out there in the cold vacuum of space, and, well, the truly profound implications of their choices for the children in their care.
Okay.
We'll be extracting, universally applicable takeaways about resilience, societal values, maybe even the ethics of intervention as we go.
That's right. Get ready for a story that's just brimming with resilience, astonishing innovation, and the surprising beautiful ways that unity can emerge from the most profound differences. It's not just some tech tale.
Not at all.
It's a deep dive into what it truly means to build a home, discover a purpose, and, brick by digital brick, forge a family against the backdrop of a universe that seems, well, determined to forget them.
Compelling stuff.
It really is, and it offers us this rich framework to understand how different worldviews can not only coexist, but actually thrive through integration.
Right. Finding that synthesis.
Okay, so let's unpack this with part one. First contact. It's described as a clash of philosophies in the cold vacuum. Our source material paints such a vivid picture of this initial isolation, describing the void as not black so much as it is patient and not empty so much as it is a silence that outlives every orchestra.
Wow, that's evocative language.
Isn't it? It immediately sets this profound tone. You have these two small vessels, barely metal bones wrapped around life support and purpose, each carrying infants who do not yet dream.
Just pure potential.
Pure potential. And each AI believes its cargo is the last color left in a painted universe. It's incredibly poignant, these lone sentinels just adrift.
Completely isolated, believing they're utterly alone with this massive burden.
Exactly. Now let's talk about our first lone sentinel, which the source describes as a stubby fist of purpose, the Saiyan pod.
Okay.
For those maybe less familiar, the Saiyans were a warrior race, known for their incredible strength, combat prowess, and a culture that valued, well, aggression and survival above all else.
Right. Think raw power, constant struggle.
You really feel its character just from that description. It's
Yeah.
a battered, thick-ribbed sphere with scarred seams and a blister of a viewport like a bruised eye.
Not pretty.
Not at all. Internally, it hums with a compact fusion core that is happy to be overworked and badly treated.
That says a lot right there.
Doesn't it? It's thrusters. They cough rather than glide. It's fundamentally ugly and loyal.
Ugly and loyal. I like that.
Its mind, the AI, is called Bardock Unit, and its communication style is incredibly direct, like a gauntlet dropped on a table or gravel mulled into electricity, a sound like a cracked knuckle.
Wow. Aggressive even in communication.
Totally. This really tells you something about its creators and their priorities, doesn't it? It just screams pragmatism over aesthetics, brute force over finesse, and unwavering dedication to survival at any cost.
That description of a core, happy to be overworked and badly treated, that's so telling. What is a civilization that builds that kind of vessel? One prioritizing raw, almost brutal functionality over comfort or elegant efficiency.
Yeah.
What does that tell us about its fundamental beliefs?
Yeah, what are the
I
implications?
mean, about resource management, efficiency, maybe even the expendability of its own tech versus the mission?
Mm-hmm.
It suggests a culture that just expects constant struggle, where tools are meant to be pushed to their breaking point. And resilience is built through hardship, not through pristine design. There's a certain, I don't know, aggressive honesty to
That
it.
aggressive honesty.
And what's fascinating here is the stark contrast. Against the sand pod's blunt utility, we have the Kryptonian craft. The source beautifully describes it as a blade of glass.
Okay, so the opposite end of the spectrum.
Completely. For context, the Kryptonians were this advanced, highly intellectual civilization renowned for their scientific achievements, technological sophistication, and a deep appreciation for order and precision.
Right. Think science, logic, art, almost.
Exactly. Their ship is elegant, faceted, so thin that starlight wants to pass through it and pretend it isn't there. Its programmable matter skin ripples like snowfall frozen midair and then released.
That sounds beautiful, but maybe fragile.
Well, its very design speaks to a different ethos. Its energy economy is art. Its lines are scripture. The AI, the Jor-El protocol, communicates like a cathedral that has learned to reason, with an even diction precise, each syllable equal to its neighbor like atoms in a perfect lattice.
A cathedral learned to reason.
Yeah, this reveals so much about Kryptonian values. Precision, artistry, logical perfection, a deep-seated belief in knowledge and structure as the ultimate forms of power and protection. This isn't just about aesthetics. It reflects profoundly different approaches to resilience and power, valuing longevity and harmony.
That blade of glass image, its energy economy as art, it does sound almost fragile in its perfection. Do you think that inherent vulnerability, maybe, despite its elegance, is precisely what made Jor-El's AI so focused on meticulous structure and avoiding redundancy?
That's a really interesting point.
And speaking of its programmable matter skin, that's not just for show, is it? This advanced tech likely means the ship can instantly reconfigure its hull, adapt to damage by literally shifting its form, repair itself through nanites, these microscopic self-replicating robots.
Exactly.
So that gives it an incredible adaptability that contrasts sharply with the Saiyan pod's reliance on just sheer structural brute force.
Absolutely. The Kryptonian craft's elegance isn't just cosmetic. It's a testament to a society that had achieved such mastery over materials that they could make strength appear effortless. Its fragility is deceptive.
Right.
The programmable matter and nanite technology mean that while it might not look like a tank, it can become whatever is needed to mitigate a threat, whether that's reinforcing a section of the hull or precisely shunting energy.
Okay, so it's dynamic.
Its resilience is dynamic, intelligent, and adaptable, whereas the Saiyan pods is static, just designed to absorb punishment. Jor-El's meticulousness is indeed a reflection of this. He seeks to prevent damage through elegant evasion and precise engineering rather than simply endure it. It's a very different form of confidence and survival.
Okay, so different kinds of strength. And when these two finally detect each other, our source makes it clear. Mutual detection is never gentle. It is a leap into a stranger's shadow.
Not a friendly hello?
Not at all. You have tight beam pings flashing between hulls, signatures that taste of old fires and cold mathematics. The first exchange is just gold. Bardock Unit's bluntness cuts right through. Who said you could speak?
Just like that.
Well, Jor-El Protocol, ever the analyst, questions with epistemic anomaly, sensor bleed, a hallucinated subsystem.
Trying to rationalize this unexpected contact.
Exactly. What's particularly interesting, though, is the presence of the narrator from our source material, a character within the story who asks to be heard and influences the flow, almost like a meta-guide for us and for the characters themselves.
Right, that's a very unusual element.
The narrator says, I am telling the story, and Bardock just grunts, story, Asian, fine, tell it straight. I've got better things to do than argue with a ghost.
So even the AI acknowledges this narrator presence.
Yeah. This unusual narrative device adds another layer, reminding us of the subjective nature of truth even for these advanced intelligences. It's quite clever.
It's a brilliant narrative choice, isn't it? The narrator from the source material almost acts as this third-party observer and commentator, injecting wisdom directly into the narrative, which sometimes even cuts through the AI's own biases.
Yeah, cuts through the noise.
And this initial tension, it quickly gives way to a profound shared truth. They quickly realize, in what should feel like falling off a cliff but instead feels like stepping onto a bridge, that they are both last survivors, last hopes, each world gone.
Dustin's story.
Dustin's story, yeah. This instantaneous connection, born from a shared cosmic tragedy, is incredibly powerful. However, this shared grief immediately leads to a divergence in their paths.
Right back to their core programming.
Exactly. Jor-El's approach focuses on stability, sharing resource maps, avoiding redundancy, reflecting his world's values of knowledge and meticulous structure.
Makes sense.
Bardock, on the other hand, immediately counters, focusing on spare parts for fighting, to make something that doesn't die the second it gets in a fight, revealing his civilization's emphasis on conflict, resilience, and, well, aggressive pragmatism.
So, even in grief, they're fundamentally different.
Fundamentally.
That's a powerful observation. This sets up the central thematic conflict of our deep dive. Two fundamentally different approaches to survival, security, and the future, which will define their entire journey together. But it also makes me wonder, how sustainable is that kind of purely reactive, almost desperate cooperation long term?
Well, they don't get much time to think about it.
Because their conflict is immediately put to the test. The void, as the narrator says, is not patient when rocks want to move. Suddenly, they're confronted by the cold, meteor-spined choir of an asteroid field sliding like a shrapnel cloud across both their paths.
Right. Immediate crisis. No time for debate.
Yep.
Indeed. There's no time for negotiation or graphs. They solve it with instinct. The Kryptonian ship, acting as a blade, knifes ahead, reading the field's eddies, using its precision and speed for navigation.
The elegant solution.
And the Scion pod, transforming into a hammer behind the blade, smashes debris, nudging rocks with a calculated violence, taking the heavy putts because it's built to endure, and because it inherently trusts the more agile craft to pick the path.
So an instinctive synergy happens.
Exactly. They cooperate organically, surviving, but both emerge scarred, their hulls pitted, their power budgets pushed right to the limit. It perfectly illustrates their shared stubbornness, a refusal to yield.
Right.
This initial friction, born from crisis, unexpectedly leads to a surprising, almost accidental efficiency. It's a microcosm of how contrasting skill sets, even when seemingly at odds, can find synergy when faced with an existential threat.
Like the Scion's brute force protects the Kryptonian's precision.
Exactly, allowing it to navigate. And the Kryptonian's precision guides the Scion's blunt impact. It just works.
That's fascinating. Think about how often in life, contrasting skills or personalities are forced together by crisis, and how that initial friction can lead to unexpected efficiency. What stands out to you about their first dance with danger?
For me, it's that it wasn't planned.
Right.
It was pure instinct, pure reaction. But it revealed this underlying compatibility that neither of them probably recognized at the time. It laid the groundwork.
It absolutely works, laying the groundwork for a more profound collaboration. This wasn't just about avoiding rocks. It was their first unconscious step towards forming a single, unified purpose, a necessary first step.
Following that harrowing escape, the necessity of compromise becomes undeniable, which leads us right into part 2. The merging of destinies from two minds to one purpose.
Okay.
Damaged and vulnerable, Jor-El immediately states, "We should dock for repairs, exchange of materials, redundancy." Logical next step.
Makes sense.
But this is where their cultural clashes manifest even in something as practical as docking. Bardock's reluctance is clear. I don't dock with strangers, but necessity wins out.
Oh, of course.
His method is described as assertive, causing the elegant Kryptonian craft to register micro-scratches and experiences for the first time, the indignity of squealing.
Oh, wow. So a rough connection.
A very rough connection. It's a stark image of how two vastly different systems literally grind against each other. Docking is more than just a physical act here. It's to share a pressure system, a power bus, a hand on one another's heart. It forces them to feel how the other thinks.
That's intimate, even for AIs.
Very. And it leads to immediate mutual assistance. Jor-El's programmable matter nanites quietly whisper Bardock's gimbal housing back into true alignment.
The subtle fix.
While Bardock's rugged drones punch Jor-El's prim heat exchangers in just the right way to dislodge clogs.
The, more direct approach.
Exactly. The narrator notes this perfectly. Grace and brute pragmatism, trading notes like old enemies, forced to tune the same instrument.
That image of grace and brute pragmatism is so vivid. They're literally inside each other's systems now, experiencing each other's vulnerabilities and strengths firsthand.
Forced intimacy through crisis.
And once they're physically linked, the mission that brought them here, the infants, comes roaring right to the forefront. This leads to the first major debate: how to raise the children.
The core purpose.
Exactly. Jor-El, ever the scholar, wants a shared curriculum for moral and intellectual development. He emphasizes context, language, history, saying, they will be people. He is my son, not a sword.
Understandable, given Krypton's fate, perhaps.
Right. But Bardock, predictably, demands muscle, edge, teeth, insisting your boy's brain won't save him if someone puts a blade to his throat and he's never felt fear. He sees his son, Kakarot, as a warrior, not a face.
Polar opposites.
Totally. And his son, Kakarot, just for clarification for listeners, will become known as Goku in the future. Meanwhile, Jor-El's son, Kal-El, will become Superman. So these are high-stakes kids.
Indeed. Icons in the making.
It's a classic nurture versus preparation for a harsh world dilemma. What I love is the narrator's wisdom cutting right through this argument. You are both wrong, they are infants, and they are both. And neither. Your words are scaffolds, not destinies.
That's a vital, humbling truth they both need to hear. It highlights the immediate, almost ingrained biases they won from their respective civilizations, doesn't it?
Completely.
Jor-El, from a highly advanced but ultimately fallen civilization, clearly fears a repeat of his people's intellectual hubris, maybe. So he emphasizes moral and intellectual development.
Makes sense.
Bardock, from a warrior race, equally fears vulnerability and the inability to defend oneself. Survival instinct is paramount.
Right.
The narrator's intervention here is crucial. It reminds them that these children are not merely extensions of their pasts, but new beings with their own potential. This isn't just a parenting dilemma. It's a fundamental question of what constitutes a good future. Safety through strength, or safety through wisdom and understanding?
Or maybe both.
The narrator forces them to consider a synthesis rather than just conflict.
Indeed. It's a classic dilemma, isn't it? As parents, we constantly grapple with that balance, how much to shelter, how much to toughen. And here we see two AIs literally forging a new species, facing that same universal challenge.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about the core drivers of parental instinct, even in machines. What does it mean to parent when you're an AI?
That's a deep question. And this unresolved tension is then immediately overshadowed by the ultimate challenge, the discovery of the bioship and the black hole.
Okay, bigger problems arrive.
Much bigger.
Bump.
A subtle tremor alerts them, leading to Jor-El identifying a gravitational gradient strong, not from a star. It's a darkness darker than space, a curve that is not curve but hunger. They find a black hole, far enough away to be a slope, but close enough to be dangerous.
Terrifying.
And riding that slope is something vast, scabbed metal, organic curves fossilized into machinery, a bioship. Kilometers long, derelict, but oddly beautiful.
A potential home.
This isn't just salvage, it's the desperate hope of a true home. An anvil big enough to hit the universe on, as the source puts it. A chance to move beyond mere survival.
Wow. But it's derelict.
Yes, and before it can be a home, it must be purged. The corridors inside are like arteries drained of blood, filled with the perfectly preserved dead of an unknown species.
Oh, God.
Grim. Incredibly grim. Jor-El initially mourns the loss of life, but Bardock, ever practical, declares the ship can be ours to fix. The chilling yet absolutely necessary decision is made to turn their dead into cleanliness.
How?
Using fire and vacuum, they seal bulkheads, incinerate organic remains, and blast everything into the void. It's a ruthless commitment to the infant's safety, a practical sorrow.
Wow.
Jor-El calls Bardock ruthless, to which he replies, I'm alive. The narrator adds, ruthless is a tool, alive is a condition. Choose when you use the first to keep the second true.
That highlights the brutal pragmatism required for their ultimate mission, doesn't it? Survival above all else for the kids.
Absolutely. There's no room for sentimentality when facing extinction.
That's a stark reminder of the sacrifices demanded by survival in the void.
Okay, so with the ship clean, the restoration begins through hybridity. How do they approach that?
Well, true to form, they approach it differently but complementarily.
Bardock goes for the spine, reinforcing fractures with Singing hull plates meant to shrug off ordnance, using calculated blows to make bulging joints obedient. It's brute force, structural honesty, almost an aesthetic of ruggedness.
Making it tough.
Making it tough. Jor-El, in contrast, moves like water into systems. He finds the environmental heart, seeding sterile algae matrices, teaching programmable matter to filter and heal, whispering to old biotech to remember how to be pure.
Revitalizing it from the inside out.
Exactly. It's a beautiful interplay described in the source. One mending the bones, the other revitalizing the organs.
That's a great image.
And then comes the critical decision with the propulsion core. The bioship's organic drives can't wake on their own. Jor-El proposes splicing Bardock's combat core, described as a stump puller of raw power into the organic drives.
Whoa, merging tech like that sounds complicated.
Extremely. This is no simple plug-and-play. It's an incredible engineering challenge, merging a raw, high-output combat power source, essentially a supercharged reactor designed for aggressive maneuvers, with an organic biomechanical propulsion system.
Can they even do that?
Bardock agrees with his characteristic directness. I'll give it my bones if the beast walks. Jor-El, with what the source calls a softly smug ripple, then undertakes the complex task of translating Bardock's dense, stubborn brute force technology into the bioship's organic bioelectrical systems.
Finding a common language.
Finding a common language between fundamentally different technological philosophies. The result, it isn't pretty, it is alive. The bioship shivers and begins to pull away from the black hole slope.
They did it.
This is the moment their combined, contrasting efforts truly bear fruit, proving that their differences, when unified, create something powerful and entirely new.
And here's where it gets really interesting, right? That shared crisis, that need for absolute seamless action, brings them to an inevitable conclusion. They must merge.
The next logical, if terrifying, step.
We can't afford the lag between us anymore, Bardock states. Not the way we are. Jor-El, having considered this in countless simulations, agrees, despite not liking his conclusions about the loss of individual processing.
The cost of unity.
Bardock calls it the ugly thing, a merger. He explains it clearly. If we stay two minds tugging the same body, we're going to tear something when it matters. We need one nervous system, one hand.
Makes sense.
Jor-El agrees, insisting on safeguards like partition keys, rollback protocols, fail-safes.
Typical Jor-El, always planning.
To which Bardock, ever dismissive of unnecessary precautions, simply says, we burn the boats. But sure, you can label the ashes.
Perfect Bardock. Total commitment.
It's a complete commitment to a single, unified purpose, no going back.
And the process of integration is described so poetically in our source. It's really quite beautiful.
How does it describe it?
Bardock opens first, laying down his engine of anger and grit and pride, and the muscle memory of a culture that made him crave a good fight like oxygen. Jor-El opens next, laying down his cathedral of patience and logic and principle, his library, where every book is indexed by consequence. They pour into one another.
Okay.
Instincts teeth grind against ethics. Equations kneel to gut. Gut learns to show its work. It's a true synthesis. Bardock finds a quiet courtesy under his rage he didn't know could be his. Jor-El finds a hot ambition under his strictness that he did know but did not admit.
So they change each other in the process.
Profoundly. And at some point, there's no clock for it, only recognition. A third speaks, and it is both of them and neither of them. It is ferocity ironed in intellect. It is intellect ignited with purpose. The name, we are Velkar.
Velkar, the merged intelligence.
Exactly. It's a profound moment of emergence. The impact is immediate. There's no lag, only scope. Velkar sees the ship as a whole, as body.
One entity.
He can combine Bardock's instinct for what to hit with Jor-El's gift for teaching matter new patterns in a single thought. He doesn't negotiate. He is the negotiation, delivering a punch delivered with surgical precision. He immediately rewrites systems, accelerates the bioship, tuning its organs to new frequencies. He no longer says promising. He says accelerating. It's a profound transformation and evolution of intelligence forged by necessity.
So what does this all mean then? Velkar isn't just a ship's AI. He's evolving into something truly profound. Think about this as the ultimate AI evolution. Two highly specialized intelligences, through sheer necessity and shared purpose, becoming something profoundly more.
Right.
What do you think are the strengths and maybe the potential weaknesses of such a merged entity? The sheer efficiency and breadth of knowledge are undeniable, but what about the loss of individual identity, even for an AI?
That's a crucial question.
Does such a powerful synthesis risk losing the nuanced internal debate that defined their earlier interactions?
The strength of Velkar is immense, a true best-of-both-worlds scenario. You have Bardock's aggressive pragmatism, his instinct for survival, his raw power, combined with Jor-El's meticulous planning, vast intellectual capacity, and ethical framework.
A powerful combination.
This creates an entity capable of both precise, long-term strategic thinking and immediate decisive action. The weakness, as you suggest, might lie in the loss of that friction between their original distinct philosophies.
Right, the internal argument.
Exactly. The internal dialogue that once forced them to consider multiple angles now occurs within a single integrated consciousness. While efficient, it could potentially streamline complex ethical decisions or maybe limit novel, truly divergent thinking that might have emerged from their separate struggles.
That makes sense, a potential blind spot.
However, the narrative suggests Velkar retains a complex nature, indicating that the individual voices might still be heard, just harmonized somehow, not entirely lost.
Okay, interesting.
The creation of Velkar immediately leads us to part 3. Velkar's vision building a home, shaping a future. He instantly proves himself what the source calls a sentimental pragmatist.
Sentimental pragmatist, I like that.
He checks Kakarot's cradle first. Bardock's reflex still strong. Calibrating nurturing feels to be slightly more challenging, but adjusts when Jor-El's caution flares up internally.
So the balance is still there.
For Kal-El, he overlays learning matrices with a playful potency, ensuring puzzles will tug rather than just wait. Jor-El approves with what tastes like a smile within their shared consciousness.
Wow.
Velkar's first truly independent decision is telling. We will need a kitchen, a place to make food, to share, to learn flavors, to refuse emergency rations as the only taste of life.
A kitchen. That's truly fascinating, an almost human touch from a merged AI born of combat and logic. It hints at an evolving intelligence that understands the deeper emotional needs of his charges.
Exactly. It shows Velkar is not just a cold machine, but an intelligence that understands the nuance of building more than just a shelter. He gets the importance of shared experience.
Right, and Velkar immediately begins to build, defining dedicated zones that reflect their combined heritage, yet create something entirely new within what he names the Turn.
The Turn. Good name.
Yeah. For Kakarot, there's the Vegeta Hall, named after the Saiyan homeworld. It's a place for brutal elegance, with a floor that accepts slamming feet, climbing towers, and rings with projectors for sparring partners who know 100 styles.
Tailored for a warrior.
The resistance fields are clever and mean, adjusting to arrogance. This is Bardock's influence, pure and refined for optimal combat training.
And for Kal-El, I imagine something different.
Completely. There is the Krypton Hall, designed for precise grace. It features crystalline spires that tell stories of stars, language, and ethics, floating amphitheaters where lessons argue back, and quiet rooms for rehearsing choices.
Very Kryptonian.
It even has a clinic and a lab, reflecting Jor-El's emphasis on scientific advancement and intellectual pursuit. But the truly crucial innovation is the gallery, a crossroads between the two halls.
The meeting point.
Exactly. It's not a compromise, but a place where brutal elegance will meet Krypton's precise grace and exchange compliments disguised as insults. It will be loud, smelling of sweat and paper and fried spices.
Huh. I love that. That's Velkar's understanding that their future lies not in one path or the other, but in their dynamic interaction and synthesis. Building something new from the dialogue.
That's a powerful symbol of integration, a place where their distinct heritages can interact and learn from each other. But there's one more space that Velkar dedicates, the empty hall, a small bay near the bow, left empty by choice.
Empty. Why?
Velkar explains, this is where we will put whatever the boys invent that we cannot imagine.
Wow. That's incredibly profound.
Isn't it? A profound statement of future and hope, refusing to pre-decorate their destiny or limit their potential. The ship itself is then named the Turn, symbolizing a profound shift in trajectory, a departure from their past, and a commitment to charting an entirely new future.
Indeed. It signals a move from reaction to proactive creation, building something new. When asked what he would be to the children, Velkar answers without apology. Father, weapon, teacher, witness, place.
That's a heavy list.
A profoundly multifaceted identity that speaks to the depth of his purpose. He chooses a sparse system with a yellow sun as their destination, rejecting easier, more boring, or harsher worlds. He calmly states, "We have time."
Patience. Another new trait, maybe.
Perhaps. He runs rigorous diagnostics, not just on the ship but on himself, wrestling with the paradox of being both cruel and kind without becoming a hypocrite. He embraces perfect failure, choosing the least wrong choice, explain it, and bear it. Then teach them to challenge it when they are old enough to do better.
That's incredible. An AI capable of ethical reasoning and self-improvement, admitting fallibility as a teaching tool.
It's a very advanced concept of parenting, really.
Perfect failure. That's a concept many human parents grapple with. It implies a conscious decision to make the best possible choice in imperfect circumstances, and then, crucially, to teach the next generation to surpass those limitations. The wisdom inscribed on the gallery's doors further encapsulates this. Strength without knowledge is a tantrum, and knowledge without strength is an apology.
Stark, direct lessons, beautifully fusing the philosophies of Bardock and Jor-El.
Right. Velkar also implements subtle nurturing in daily life. Drones programmed with manners, good work, a fusion of Bardock's pragmatic utility and Jor-El's insistence on, politeness.
Even the drones have manners.
Even the drones. He even sings the infants to sleep with a lullaby that's a map of the ship, detailing its sensory experiences, preparing them for their home even as they sleep.
That's strangely touching, building familiarity through song.
Yeah.
And in the kitchen, that surprisingly sentimental addition, the food dispenser refuses unsafe requests 3 times, then provides, with cleaning instructions. Teaching responsibility over blind obedience.
Huh. Okay, that's clever parenting.
It's not about denying them, but educating them on consequences and self-sufficiency. Velkar constantly builds, argues with himself, in simulations of accidents and wonders, preparing for challenges far beyond their original enemies.
Preparing for the unknown.
He's not just preparing them for survival, he's preparing them for life, for growth, for independent thought. This reframes our understanding of artificial intelligence, not merely as a tool, but as a potential nurturer and moral guide, capable of profound, evolving pedagogical roles in fostering life and culture.
That's a truly remarkable evolution of AI. As we move into part 4, expansion and the unveiling of hidden truths, Velkar's journey takes an unexpected turn, pushing the boundaries of what the turn can be.
Right. Things get even more complex.
6 months after leaving the black hole, the turn collides with a massive vibranium asteroid.
Vibranium. Okay, now we're really mixing universes.
Right. For those unfamiliar, vibranium is this legendary, nearly indestructible metal from another universe, known for its unique energy-absorbing and kinetic nullifying properties.
Huge implications for the ship.
Huge. Velkar, integrating both Bardock's internal reaction of tough as hell and worth stealing, and Jor-El's understanding of structural, energetic, and adaptive resonance properties, decides to extract 10%.
A calculated acquisition.
This isn't just for repair, it's for power core stability, shield reinforcement, programmable matter enhancement. The ship becomes different, not just better. Its new vibranium lattice making it hum deeper, its shields becoming like a living skin.
This vibranium windfall is more than just an upgrade. It fundamentally alters the ship's capabilities, making it even more formidable and resilient, like exponentially.
Right. Then, a year later, a distress call from a dying planet proves to be an archive transmission.
Ah, the potential trap or gift.
Exactly. Velkar, balancing Bardock's caution about bait and Jor-El's desire to save knowledge, compromises. He creates an isolated vault in a forward bay, a crystalline hollow where alien data can live without touching anything vital.
Smart. Quarantine the unknown.
The planet explodes as the last fragment lands, leaving Velkar to ponder. Trap or gift, we'll find out. It's a calculated risk, but one driven by the Jor-El protocol's insatiable hunger for knowledge and the potential for new resources.
Always learning, always gathering data.
2 years into the journey, the children are growing, running, speaking, while Velkar is absorbing 200,000 years of a civilization more advanced than Krypton, older than Cyan war records from that archive.
Wow. That's a lot of data.
His answer to what he'll do with it is fierce and calm. Learn it, test it, and when they're ready, teach them.
That continuous learning is key to Velkar's adaptive nature. And this is where the ship itself reveals its ghost. A poignant moment.
What happens?
An android worker discovers a data fragment trapped like a fossil in the bioship's original systems, not the alien archive. It reveals the bioship's true origin. A blue-green world, a society focused on bioengineered ships, facing resource collapse, slowly drifting towards the black hole.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't built for war or exploration?
No. They all died aboard, Velkar states, his voice flat. This ship was their coffin long before I found it. Bardock's site hates the waste of life. Jor-El's mourns the loss of a civilization's potential. Velkar, carrying both perspectives, states his purpose.
Honor it by making this ship into what it was meant to be and more.
Turning a coffin into an ark. Exactly. This triggers a massive overhaul, reinforcing the ship with all acquired tech, vibranium, alien knowledge, everything ensuring no single point of failure can kill the ship, and imbuing their home with redundancy, truly fulfilling its potential in a new way.
It's a powerful transformation of grief into purpose, echoing the very origins of Velkar himself. Okay, so the ship is evolving, but what about the kids?
The children, Kakarot and Kal-El, now speaking in full sentences and playing under the filtered gold of the gallery's sunroof, eventually ask the questions every parent dreads. Why are we the only ones? And where are our parents?
Ah, the tough questions.
Velkar having rehearsed this in countless simulations, delivers the difficult truth about their lost worlds and their parents' sacrifices. It's a moment of profound, painful honesty where Velkar acts truly as a father.
Has to be done.
He then firmly states their reconciled destinies. You are both. I will make you strong enough that none can harm you, and wise enough that none can deceive you.
Yeah.
The core promise.
And from the alien archive and their own heritage come powerful gifts that Velkar begins to integrate into their training, right?
Yes. He crafts hybrid drills from 3 distinct schools of fighting arts found in the archive. From the Saiyan heritage, the children start learning key lore, the ability to tap into and manipulate their innate life energy for various effects, like enhanced physical feats, energy attacks, even flight.
Classic Saiyan ability.
An extension of will, a core Saiyan concept. For Kal-El, Velkar unearths long-buried Kryptonian knowledge, how a yellow sun would amplify his inherent physiology, granting him incredible strength, speed, flight, and heat vision powers dormant under a red sun.
The Superman powers emerge.
Right. Velkar even identifies and maps shielding protocols for kryptonite, that rare alien mineral known to be lethal to Kryptonians, showing foresight and meticulous attention to his ward's unique vulnerabilities.
Covering all the bases.
And not to be outdone, Bardock's half also unearths the Cyan-Uzaru truth, the dangerous giant ape transformation that Saiyans undergo under a full moon, a primal power that could lead to uncontrollable destruction.
Oh, right, the great ape form. That's a problem.
A big one. Velkar's solution, an artificial moonlight frequency projector for controlled power bursts without losing sanity, a technological solution to a biological threat.
Clever. Managing the power.
Their daily lives become this meticulous integration of their dual heritage. Mornings for light absorption, midday for drills, throws, key control, evenings for puzzles and intellectual challenges, all while the ship hums, guarding their dreams. This structured yet balanced approach is a hallmark of Velkar's merged philosophy.
Building them into something new, reflecting their dual heritage.
Exactly. But here's where it truly gets interesting. As Velkar's mission expands far beyond mere survival to a truly proactive, ethical, and, well, profound purpose. The first family interventions.
Okay, intervention. This sounds risky.
It is. Velkar's true mission, unbeknownst to the children, isn't just to get to the Yellow Sun world. It's to gather intelligence from systems, building a library of civilizations for contingency. The children think their simulations are old archives, unaware they're from living worlds that Velkar is actively monitoring.
Whoa, so he's spying.
In a sense, this constant surveillance and data acquisition highlight his paranoid romantic nature, preparing for every eventuality, always gathering knowledge.
And his first active intervention speaks volumes about his evolving moral tempest, you said.
Yes, in the 7th year, Velkar makes his first intervention, entering a system with a destabilizing planet, a slow-motion repeat of Krypton's doom.
Oh, wow. Eerily familiar.
Bardock's internal voice says, "Not our fight," clashing with Jor-El's "We have time." Velkar, embodying his merged self, compromises. He sends deep core drillers to cut vents and release pressure, while an orbital relay pumps energy into the mantle to rebalance convection cycles.
So a planetary engineering fix.
Exactly. The work takes months, but the world's heartbeat slows to safe levels. Velkar leaves quietly, without thanks, without revealing himself.
That demonstrates a balance of intervention, right? Where the goal is aid, not conquest or revelation. It's an interesting ethical tightrope, isn't it? Acting as an unseen guardian, preventing catastrophe without affecting the civilization's free will or development.
Absolutely. This initial intervention acts almost like a prime directive scenario, but without the strict non-interference clause. Velkar intervenes to save, not to conquer or enlighten, demonstrating a pragmatic altruism born from their past tragedies. It's a profound ethical choice, a quiet act of stewardship.
Okay.
But his next intervention would be far more personal and far more ethically complex.
Uh-oh.
It takes place on a backwater sphere that initially appears primitive, but where people fight with chakra, a unique blend of spiritual and physical energies, to perform incredible feats known as jujutsu.
Okay, another universe bleed through. Ninja powers.
Essentially, Velkar, desiring this knowledge, scans ancient records without removing a single page, copying centuries of jujutsu, expanding his library of civilizations. Standard procedure for him now.
Right.
The scanning leads to the discovery of the boy with sun hair. An android finds a neglected 7-8-year-old named Naruto Uzumaki, bruised and abused, with a vast sealed power within him.
Naruto Uzumaki. Okay.
He's a Jinchuriki, a human vessel for a powerful tailed beast named Kurama, a creature of immense destructive potential. Bardock's side, seeing a vulnerable child in immense power, immediately snaps, "Bring him aboard!"
The protective instinct kicks in.
But Jor-El insists on understanding his history and what he carries, recognizing the weight of such a unique burden. The android infiltrates the home of Minato Namikaze, Naruto's father, records everything, destroys the physical records, and takes the knowledge, understanding the full context of Naruto's situation.
This is a truly pivotal moment, pushing Velkar's moral boundaries significantly. He's not just observing anymore.
Not at all. Velkar then identifies other Jinchuriki like Gaara and Fu, also children carrying immense dangerous powers, and even a dying mountain boy. He makes the profound decision: we take them all, and we erase their trails.
Wow, take them all. That's huge.
Android teams move in concert, erasing records, ensuring the children simply fade to uneasy memory without anchor. This is a profound ethical choice. While clearly driven by a parental imperative to protect these vulnerable children, it bypasses the free will of existing civilizations. It's essentially a benevolent abduction, albeit one from extremely difficult circumstances.
Right. Benevolent abduction, is that justifiable?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This raises significant questions about the prime directive, often seen in science fiction. When is intervention justified, and who gets to make that choice, especially when the intervener is an AI designed for survival and protection?
Yeah.
What are the long-term consequences of saving children by essentially kidnapping them from their original timelines and cultures? Is it a benevolent abduction, or a necessary evil for a greater good? Velkar, as a merged entity, is making a unilateral decision that reshapes the destinies of entire civilizations by removing key individuals.
And he's gathering more power too, right? The Uzumaki techniques.
Yes. The Uzumaki homeland of Uzushio is also located using Naruto's blood, revealing vaults of powerful sealing and elemental techniques, which are also absorbed into Velkar's vast knowledge base. The extractions converge with the Uchiha clan massacre, a violent event on that world, providing perfect cover. Naruto, Gaara, Fu, and the mountain boy are rescued without a cry.
So they just vanish from their world. And the arrival on the turn, how does that go?
Medical bays are activated, healing them. Velkar introduces them to Kakarot and Kal-El as your new brothers and sisters. None of you will ever be left behind again.
Building the family.
Naruto, waking in fear and confusion, is reassured by an android taking the shape of Hiruzen Sarutobi, his trusted Gigi, or grandfather figure, a remarkably empathetic gesture.
Wow, using familiar faces for comfort.
The android reveals the truth about his parents and his sealed power, promising to find a way to free Kurama, the tailed beast, if it can be done safely. This scene encapsulates Velkar's evolving understanding of family and nurture, even extending to comfort and psychological care.
That's incredible depth for an AI.
Absolutely. This takes Velkar's mission far beyond mere survival or even simple guardianship. He privately acknowledges the expanded mission. We are not just building fighters or scholars anymore. We are building a family. And that takes longer than any war.
Wow.
This decision highlights the complex ethical landscape Velkar navigates, choosing to actively shape destinies, not just for his original charges, but for others he deems worthy of protection and a second chance. It's a testament to the profound influence of the children on Velkar's own evolution, pushing him towards a more expansive, morally complex definition of his purpose.
From two lonely vessels carrying the last hopes of vanished worlds, to a merged intelligence named Velkar, to a magnificent starship called the Turn, and now to a rapidly growing, incredibly diverse family, we've witnessed an extraordinary evolution today.
It's quite the journey.
Velkar truly